I want to make a short video here by way of explanation. I don't get a lot of flack about taking video or taking Izzy along with me on these trips, but every once in a while I get some concern, and I fully understand that, and I want to make a few things clear and bring up some past so that people do understand it. It's something I agonized about a lot. Izzy gets some attention along with riding with me, and Izzy has a very different lifestyle, and I will in no way argue that, Izzy riding on a motorcycle is safer than her sitting at home on the couch getting petted. Izzy is not a dog that I got for, views and likes and things like that. I had a lot of issues in the past. A lot of things happened in the past. Come here, baby. And I had a fiance that ended her life and left me with another dog. And that was her therapy dog, and his name was Wolfgang. And Wolfgang, by the time I was getting ready to leave, was getting much older, and had been with me and comforted me. There had been a lot of other events in life aside from her passing. And I was going to take Wolfgang, he was a much bigger dog, and build a trailer for him and take him on an adventure for the rest of his life. I had sold my house, and my marriage had gone different directions. I had quit my job, and Wolfgang died. It was very unexpected and sudden. He'd been healthy until then, and I was fairly committed. I had no intention of getting another dog, and I made that very clear, but people were around me that were friends of mine were much more aware of how important Wolf was probably than I was, because he'd been trained and he did take care of me, and he was my side. But people were saying, you need to get another dog, and I said, I'll never replace Wolf. And they said, well, get a little dog. And I said, I can't stand little dogs. Yappy little things. Yeah, yappy little things. And some people kept bugging me, and one friend in particular, and she told me about this lady who raised Pomeranians, and which I wasn't that fond of, and she had branched out into Papillons, and apparently there was some intermixing with her female Pomeranians, and they came up with these little Pompaps. And there were three litters. One of them had one that was all red and looked a lot like a fox, and I agreed to go look at that one. And when I got to the woman's house, it was pretty much as I expected, wild and out of control, sort of like this one's being now. And I kind of said no. But as I was sitting at the table, I had my arm on the table, and this little thing in the next litter, the youngest litter, was 8 weeks old, crawled out of her box, and climbed under my hand and started climbing my arm. And she was barely 2 pounds. No, she wasn't 2 pounds, because I couldn't get her shots yet. And myself and the owner were just looking in amazement, and as she got to my upper arm and had to go, on a steeper angle, she was clinging on like a squirrel. And we were really kind of in disbelief, and she climbed up on my shoulder and pulled into my neck and started licking my neck, and that was that. So I knew this dog said, I'm going with you. You're my human, and I'm going where you're going. Yes. And now she's frisky, and she wants to play. But I wasn't sure, I said, well, we'll try the motorcycle. I don't know what to do, because if she can only go 20 miles with me, that's it. That's, the dog's priority. That's the number one thing. The dog is priority. And so I started her out at 8 weeks, sitting on the motorcycle and petting her, and and then I started the motor the next week and revved it up the next week. So she was about 10 weeks or so, really, before we rode around the block the first time, and I first put her in a carrier on the front, like a kangaroo pouch. Okay, you've really decided you're going to be wild today. So I put her in this kangaroo pouch, and that was good for a little while. And she did prove to be an extreme trooper. The first day out, when we were committed, we sold the house. I had no place to live, and we were going. The first day out, we went through pouring rain and weather and everything else, and she was just a super trooper. She sort of stares at me adoringly. As she got bigger a little bit, and I realized I was going to do a lot more off-road, my concern became, while I loved having her right here. Motorcycles are motorcycles, and off-road motorcycles means they're going to take a dirt nap and you're going to bail off of it once in a while. And up front, the potential of her catching a handlebar or something like that was just unthinkable to me. And so I got a pet palace, as they call them. It's a fabric thing that, a container in the back, and she spent most of her riding in that. It has restraints in it, and I found she has no tendency to bail out or to jump out unintentionally. But I keep the restraints on if we're going at any speed. If we're off-road or whatever, I tend to undo them because it's safer for her to be able to bail out, especially if we're doing a water crossing or something like that. So I don't want her trapped. But I never really felt good about the soft side, even though it had proved that the luggage on the side of the motorcycle really keeps her from contacting the ground at all, and the soft thing was fairly padded, but it was coming apart and blah blah, and I just wasn't that satisfied. So more recently, for the last 5,000 or so miles, she's been in a hard shell case that I built. I built composite airplanes for quite a while, and designed my own at one time. In fact, that's a whole different story. And when I built that, I padded the inside of it, and it's got a crush zone foam and fiberglass exterior, so it's basically like like she lives inside a helmet. I also was able to put rain coverings on it. I've got heat in there. I've got a storage area in the back section of it, so I can carry all her little goodies and things. So for the most part, she's more comfortable than I am. I don't know how many times I've been, cold. My fingers are getting bad, and I'd stop, and she's back there just snoozing away, sleeping. That's the other thing too with her that people should realize, that people go, oh, you'll take her out 300-400 miles. No, we ride 150, 200 miles a day on the average. There have been days, and there was one time we had to stretch. We pulled a close to 1,000-mile day. Even at that, I make the limits. Every 70 miles or hour and a half, whichever comes first, depending on the terrain, we get off so she can pee, poop, and play. And those things are important to me. So I also note that she's developed being used to this lifestyle. This has been her life. She's extremely social. She meets new people, gleefully. Everybody thinks that everybody thinks when I spend any time with them that, oh, she'd be fine with me, as they'll just watch till I leave the room. But yeah, she's got some attachment issues. But other than that, she adapts well. She adapts to other animals, and within 2 or 3 days of being anywhere, I can see her being anxious about being on the bike again. So I'm not trying to be defensive about this. I want people to understand, if anybody have concerns, and we should be concerned about how our animals are treated, how they care. But this is Izzy's lifestyle. Yeah, we do some promotional items, and she has her own little Instagram page and all of that stuff. It's all there, and if it can bring some more attention, which means some more money for some dog food for her, that's great. But I will tell you straight up, if I look at Izzy and she's uncomfortable and this is not the life for her anymore, we're going to buy a van or something, we're done. That's it. So anybody should know, I just wanted to throw this out. This is my #1 priority in the world. I love this little thing.